Ravi, Avinash, Kamaldeep, Pushpa, Veena, classroom guys. Okay. So did you get any chance to go through this comparison chart? So can you answer if you are getting any questions? Okay, so in this case, what instant type you are going to purchase or what instant type you are going to use? Come on, guys. Arvind, what is the answer? Standard. Standard. Okay, why? Okay. So first thing, you need high availability. You really don't require any elasticity. So that is why. If you need elasticity, go with convertible. And he need it for fixed 1 year. So here, which one you are going to choose? Yeah. Are you sure? Have you read that question clearly? First one. Provision IOPS. Yes. Why? Just because if he need high rate of random disk IO and he know how much he required and he need for long term. So when it is long term, you must go with the EBS only, not magnetic or not instant store. And it is for designing. He is designing a database solution there, so you must go with the for databases. That's why I asked you to read the use case. Okay, here. Okay, as it for big data, see. Okay, so then this. What did you see? Okay, right. So EBS snapshot directly we cannot copy to another region, so it's not a valid answer. So move the data to an S3 bucket and enable cross-region replication. No, S3 is for static data and EBS is block storage, where it is designed to install applications or install operating system or run operating system. So B is not a valid answer. So use a script to copy data from current EBS volume to destination EBS volume. So we can achieve by using this, by implementing sharing. So but we really don't require that. Simply create a snapshot, copy that snapshot there, create a volume there. Okay. So now here in today's session, first we are going to discuss data lifecycle management. So quickly, so I'll show with an existing server. For example, so here I have a server and I'm going to start it. Okay. So some service is installed there. So we have a backend volume and this is a root volume basically. This is a root volume and periodically I want to take a snapshot of this particular volume. Periodically I want to take a snapshot. So in that case, associate a particular tag for that volume. See, at moment that volume has one particular tag. So when you go to tags, one tag is there for this volume, that is Jenkins server is a tag. Okay. So periodically, how many volumes you have, you want to take backup. How many volumes you want to take backup. For all those volumes, associate an appropriate tag. Then by using Lifecycle Manager, we can create a lifecycle policy. And this EBS snapshot lifecycle policy is going to create snapshots automatically. Again, how many previous days snapshots you required, it is going to keep. The remaining one, it is going to delete. Okay, so let's create that. So click on create snapshot lifecycle policy. Here is a description. You can give any description. For example, I want to create a snapshot daily snapshot mechanism. Again, do you want to apply this policy for an individual volume or an instance? How many volumes you have for that instance? Regardless of that, you are going to get a snapshot for all. For example, I want to take snapshot of entire instance for Jenkins server. Otherwise, if you are getting confused, for example, like you have so we are maintaining same snapshot for instance as well as volume, right? So what you can do is for instance, you can add a new tag. So I'm going to call this as a type instance, save it. Along with this existing name tag. So this is same for our instance as well as EBS volume. This is same for our instance as well as EBS volume, right? Now what I did for instance, I added one extra. So if I want to apply at instance level, I can pick this. I can go here again, give a quick refresh. So you want to apply for instance, name, type, instance. So here, what is the tags you want to give? So by default, you are going to get a tag here with this timestamps and all. So along with that, if you want to give any manual tags, you can give that. So then policy scheduled. So how frequently you want to run this? For example, I'm going to create this as a daily schedule. So daily schedule means for every 24 hours, I'm going to run this. At what time you want to start this? These timings are in UTC time zone. All timings here is in UTC time zone. You need to calculate with your local time zone. Okay, so here it is going to start at 9 UTC. Okay, for every 24 hours at that point of time, snapshot creation is going to happen on all the instances which have this particular tag. In future, if you are launching any new instance, if you give a tag in this manner, that instance also will come into this lifecycle policy. All you need is you must maintain appropriate tags. Okay, simple. Go with type as a production. If it is a production, every day midnight create a backup copy. Take a snapshot. So calculate that midnight hours under UTC. So then apply that here. So again, how many previous snapshots you want to retain? For example, last 2 snapshots I need. For example, now immediately server failure happen. I can initialize a restoration option. I can launch a new instance from the snapshots. That is what our next topic. Okay, so there, how many previous days you want to, for example, I want to retain last 2 days. As I am selecting 24 hours, I am giving 2 here. For example, if you want a snapshot for every 2 hours, go here, select this option. For every 2 hours, we are going to get a snapshot, and I am selecting return as a 2. That means whatever the snapshot life cycle, it is greater than or equal to 4 hours, it is going to delete. For every 2 hours, it is going to create 1 snapshot. It is going to keep last 2 snapshots. That means 4 hours. Here 48 hours. So based on your requirement, you can select that. Then so copy tags from volume as well as this is a default tags we are going to get for created volumes. Now additional tags if you want to give, you can give that. Exclude snapshot of the root volume. So we have root volume, right? So if you really don't want to create snapshot of root volume, if you want to create only additional volume snapshot, you can select this option. Root volume snapshot will not be created. I'll tell you, whenever we are creating a snapshot, IOPS operations are going to be suspended for some time, like 10 to 15 seconds. Whatever the active sessions you have, it is going to disconnect. Whatever the SSH or RDP session you have, it is going to disconnect. Even if any user session is happening on that server, that is going to disconnect. IOPS are going to be freezed. Okay, so to eliminate such type of issues, you can exclude root volume. But in our case, I'm applying for root volume itself. So I'll go with it. It's completely our option. So then here, Amazon is performing the snapshot creation on behalf of us. Manually, we can do that. but instead of that, we are asking Amazon to perform that. Okay, so for that, we need to create a role. We need to create a role, and with that role, Amazon is going to create automatically. So select default role. So this is the first time we are configuring. So if you have any other, you can just go here, you can select that, but just go with the default role. Okay. So now policy summary at 9 UTC, for every 24 hours, it is going to create whatever the snapshots having life size less than 2 years old, then it will be available. If it is more than 2 years, then it is going to delete automatically. Why? Because retain period we have selected 2. You got this mechanism? At moment, you want to keep it in enable state or disable state. So I'm going to select it in enable state. When you click on create policy, it starts immediately, but you need to wait for this time and all. So I cannot show immediately. So you can create a 1 GB volume or 2 GB volume. You can definitely give a try with this option. Okay, whether it is creating automatically or not, just try to create this. Again, instead of that 8 GB volume, create a 1 GB volume. So I'm going to create 1 GB volume in episode 1A, and I'm going to add a name tag. This is additional volume. Click on create volume. Now I want to apply this. So navigate to lifecycle manager, create snapshot lifecycle, daily or hourly, or you can give any name. I'm going to select volume. I'm going to select name. Should I give name only, right? Name, additional volume. Just give a quick refresh. Additional volumes. Then how frequently? For every 2 hours I want to create at this particular point of time, and I want to remain last 2. Then you can apply that. So I want you to perform this by using that 1 GB or 2 GB. So don't go with that 8 GB and all. Okay. So now let's look into an option where we can use CloudWatch to create periodical snapshots. There we can define our required durations. For every 5 minutes if you want to create, yes. For every 1 minute if you want to create, yes, you can. And there we have an option also. When instance state changed from running to stopped or shutting down or any other particular state, so immediately you can get a notification. That is a state change notification. Okay, so let's look into that quickly. So again, we have a dedicated session on CloudWatch. So don't worry at moment. So I'm going to show you only one feature within the CloudWatch. Okay, so now under management and governance, you can find CloudWatch. Navigate there. So let us assume you have an EC2 instance, and that is a production server. When it is stopped, immediately you want to get a notification. Yes, you can use this feature. So go here, select events, click on get started. Now here we have an option event pattern or scheduled. First of all, let's see about this event pattern. Let us assume you have an EC2 instance and that is in running state, and when that state got changed, immediately you want to get a notification. So go here, event pattern, select the service. In our case, it is EC2. Now this is all events. We are going to get notifications. In next step here, we are going to add notifications option. So event type. So here, when instance state change notification. This is what the state: running, stopped, shutting down, terminated. These are the state. So again, do you want to get notification for any state or specific state? So I'm going to take specific state. When my instance changed status to stopped state, I want to get notification. Again, do you want to get notification for any instance or specific instances? I'm going to apply for specific instance. So you need to grab this instance ID and you need to give that here. I have grabbed that instance ID and I have given that here. For example, if you want to add 2 instances, add 3, add. Okay. Now, here it is going to create an event pattern. So when the instance state changes to stopped on this particular instance, then here is a target. We are going to trigger an SNS topic. In our S3, we created one topic, important notifications topic. If you still have that SNS topic, use that. If you do not have that particular topic, create a new SNS topic. So here is the targets. Click on add target. And by default, it is going to select SNS topic. So we need SNS only. If anything is selected here, just scroll down and pick SNS topic. Okay. Then what is the topic name? So I have DynamoDB, SNS demo, important notifications. So we already know these important notifications. I'm going to select that. Then scroll down, click on configure details. What is the name you want to give? So instance state change. So you can give some meaningful. So okay, production instance state change notification. So at moment, do you want to keep it in enable state, or later on you can enable? You can create some and later on also you can enable. Then click on create role. Now one role is created here. Okay. So let me log into my email. Okay. So here I logged into my email, and this instance state is still in running state. Intentionally, I'm going to stop it. Click on yes, stop. So I have not configured to get a notification when it is in stopping state. I selected only stopped state. If you want to select yes, you can. Okay. So it is stopping. Okay, now it is stopped. When you go here, when you give a quick refresh there, you can see we got a new message. This is what our version EC2 state change notification, the details and source, Amazon EC2 in this particular AWS account, in this particular region, at this particular timestamp, on this particular resource, an instance within this AWS account. This is what the instance ID and state is stopped. Immediately we got notification. Okay. So this is real timely we are monitoring our EC2 instance. If you want to disable, you can disable it. Okay. So whenever any state change happened, immediately we are triggering a SNS topic and we are getting a notification. Not only for that, let's pick S3. Again, do you want to get notification for all events or bucket level operations or object level operations? I'm going to select bucket level operations. Any operation or specific operation. Specific operation. When delayed bucket is happened, I want to get notification. Or when delayed bucket CORS, I want to get. When bucket is created, I want to get notification. Then add a target, SNS topic, and next step, the same thing. Next step, give a valid name, click on save. When bucket is created or deleted, immediately we are going to get a notification. Exactly same way, whatever the service you are going to take, you can get notifications real timely by using these CloudWatch rules. That is the first option. Second option, when coming to our EBS volumes one, you have an EBS volume and periodically you want to create a snapshot of that particular volume. Okay, so by using schedule option, we can do that. You have an EC2 instance periodically or at a particular time you want to reboot your EC2 instance. You can configure by using this. You want to stop your EC2 instance. You can configure by using this. So you are eliminating manual operations in simple. For example, every night you want to reboot for production system. For every weekend on Saturday night at 12 a.m. you want to reboot the system. So do you need to wake up till that time and manually you need to perform that? You really no need to. You can schedule the task by using CloudWatch schedule operations. Okay, so let's do that. So again, here we have a fixed rate. Trigger this for every 5 minutes, for every 1 hour, for every 2 hours, and here you can select for every 5 days, for every 4 hours, for every 5 minutes, you can. Otherwise, you can use cron expression. You know cron format? So basically cron will have 5 stars. Let's look into that. So we have a very simple website, crontab.guru. This is first star. This is day of a week. So you can, for example, according to our requirement, at Saturday, every Saturday, I want to reboot my system. Again, so first thing, day of a week. In every week, Saturday. Second, what month? Again, I want to perform only for this November month. Then I can give November. Every Saturday, only November month. Or instead of November month, I can give November and December. From November to December, every Saturday. Otherwise, I want to trigger this every single month, give star. On every Saturday, on every single month. This one, day. If that Saturday coming on any particular day, or for example, 1 to 15, or on every single day, within a month. Okay, so then this is hour, at what time you want to. And the next one is minutes. So in our case, at 12, again, at 12:0. So this means Saturday, on every single month, on every whatever the day that is in a month, at 12 a.m. this action is going to trigger whatever the action you are going to select. So here you need to give like these formats. So just copy this format. Just go here and you can give cron and give this. Okay. So for example, for every single minute you want to trigger something, then give all stars. This is nothing but every single minute, on every single month, on every single day of every single week, in every single hour. For every one single minute, it is going to trigger. So based on your requirement, you can configure this. Otherwise, go with the fixed rate of. So now here, when you click and when you scroll up, we have option create snapshot API call. For every 5 minutes, it is going to create a snapshot. Reboot instance API call. For every 5 minutes, your instance is going to reboot. After 5 minutes, your instance is going to stop. Our instance is going to terminate. So these are options related to EC2. We can perform by using this. So our requirement is we have an additional volume that is a 1 GB volume, and I want to create a snapshot for every 2 minutes. Let's go here. I'm going to create snapshot for every 2 minutes. And here I'm going to select create snapshot API call. What is your volume ID? This is my volume ID. When this operation is triggered, I want to get a notification. So I'm going to add target again. Go here, SNS topic. To what emails you want to get notification? Then click on configure details. So snapshot. Snapshot for every 2 minutes. And I'm going to enable this. Click on create role. So at moment, I do not have any snapshot. See this? And I have created a role and I trigger that. I created role and it is in enable state. Let's verify, and even we are going to get notifications also here. So let's give some time, couple of minutes for this action to trigger. So if you want to stop your instance, you can just go here. We have stop instance API call. What is your EC2 instance? Just go here and pick your instance. See, one snapshot is created automatically. If you don't delete that role, it is going to happen always. Make sure you delete that or disable at least. So otherwise, for every single 2 minutes, for every 2 minutes, it is going to create a snapshot. Okay. So that is for individual volumes. Periodically, quickly, again, if I delete, again, I am going to get a new one. I am deleting it manually, right? So here it got created in this account. This is what the resource, this is what happening. So you can get all those things. Okay. So yeah, did I disable that? Okay, I have not yet. So again, it is going to create. So I'm going to disable it and I'm going to delete it. Basically, I really don't require this. I deleted that. Okay, so then this snapshot creation is going to stop. So any questions on that? Any questions on this CloudWatch events option? Yes.
Even alarming
Alarms is different. Alarm is gives notifications, and there we will discuss that alarms. We'll talk about that. So at moment, just understand this. Any question on this? No, all good. Yes.
I have created a snapshot.
Okay.
Let's say digital volume.
Yeah.
And then I have deleted an additional volume. So my snapshot will remain there, it will be deleted.
Okay, so here the question is, you have a volume and you created a snapshot and you deleted that volume. You have not deleted snapshot.
No, I have not deleted snapshot.
If you don't delete snapshot, you will have the snapshot. That is what we do actually. When you have a backup copy, you really don't need to have that volume in your AWS account. We are going to delete when we have backup copy. In future, whenever you require the same data as a volume, you can create that volume from your snapshot. That's what I did in our last session.
Same thing I tried, then I went back to the snapshot of deleting volume. Then it shows in this region there is no snapshot.
No. I did many times, even yesterday also I did the same. So if you delete volume, only volume will delete. Snapshot will not delete. If you delete snapshot, only snapshot will delete, volume will not delete. Okay. So, okay, is there any limit on the number of events, rules under free tier? See, free tier is nothing but, it's not a different kind of account, Ravi. It is a regular account only. But if you want to explore that feature, make sure you are under free tier limitation. First thing. And yes, snapshot will come under free tier eligibility. Volumes will come under free tier eligibility. And those events, no, it's not going to cost us anything. CloudWatch events. It is not going to cost us. And can we see who created that bucket? Yes, we can now. We have CloudTrail logs right now. Okay, so now let's start discuss about images. So far we are talking about backup copies of our individual volumes, but I have a server and I spend a lot of hours to configure multiple jobs, multiple configuration settings. Now I need same kind of servers, 4. I need 4 servers with same kind of settings, same features. So in simple clone, you know cloning features. Clone is mean what? You are going to get one more copy. So I need 3 more copies of my existing server, 2 more copies of my existing server with all customized settings. In that case, we will use this image option. We even call it as a golden AMI. Golden AMI. So we can manually create by selecting a root volume snapshot. You can create an image. Otherwise, you can simply select your instance and you can simply select create image option. You will get an image. Okay. So let's look into that option now. So I'm going to launch an EC2 instance and I'm going to modify all the settings as per my requirement. In simple, you need an instance with all your internal applications. Let us assume, in our case, I'm going to install Putty and I'm going to change wallpaper and I'm going to change the password. And if you want, I can create a new user. So let us assume you need 10 instances with all these required settings. So is it suggested to launch 10 brand new instances and install everything manually? No. But it's these small options, okay, you can spend at least a couple of hours and you can do that. But sometimes clients will come up with requirements. Hey Avinash, I need a system with CAS standards. CAS standard, the document itself like 800 pages. You need to run all the tests on your EC2 instance and you need to fix everything. Then you need to deliver that server. Fine, one server you spend a couple of days and then what you did and you deliver that server. After some days, he came up with another request. Hey Avinash, I need same kind of system. Again, are you going to sit and are you going to configure all those things? Let us assume he asked you to prepare 10 servers with all the settings. Then difficult, right? So we are going to take one brand new EC2 instance. We are going to configure that system based on our requirement. Then we can create a copy of that. Under my AMI, so far we are launching quick start AMIs, brand new AMIs. Now, when you create an image, you are going to get my AMI. From that my AMI, you can launch a new instance. First thing. Second thing, you have a server in Mumbai region. You want to move or you need same setting server in Northern Virginia. Then you can create an image. Then you can copy that image to required region. Then launch a server from that region, copied AMI. Or you want to share that with another AWS account user. It is possible. Okay. So those all options we can achieve by using custom images or golden AMIs. Okay. Right. Let me quickly launch an EC2 instance. Launch instance. Here we do not have an instance under my AMI. So I'm going to take a brand new EC2 instance 2012 R2 base, T2 micro, all the default settings, storage 30 gigs, tags, and I'm going to call this as so new Windows instance. And I'm going to configure existing security group, MySG, launch, and I'm launching by using key pair. So I told you I'm going to give one task. So the task involved with image creation and all. So I'm associating this key pair AWS 730 batch. Click on launch instances. View instance. All right, one instance is created here. I'm going to get connected to that instance. And I'm going to change the password. So, and I'm going to create another user and I'm going to give remote login access. The task I given to you guys on day 1 in EC2. So I'm going to perform. Then I'm going to you can install IAS if you want. You can install anything. Okay, so let me get connected to this instance. Right moment. I'm browsing this key pair to get connected to this EC2 instance. Okay, I got connected to this machine and I'm going to perform all required modifications. First thing, I'm going to disable IEHC, turning it off. Second thing, I'm going to so you can go to computer management. You can perform all the operations there itself. So here is the local users and groups. Users, I have only administrator now. I want to change password of this user. So or else you can manually go to control panel. Just give control and it opens the control panel. Here is the user accounts. Go there, user accounts, manage another account, select administrator, change the password. What is your current password? So this is what my current password is. What is the new password you want to give? Change password. All right, we have changed administrator's password. Along with that, okay, did I close that? So along with that, so I want to create another user. Go there under users, give a right click, new user. What is going to be his username? So let us call him as an admin. What is the password you want to give? The user must change his password in next sign in, so I'm not going to. And password never expired, so just click on create. All right, so one user got created here, but again, he's not going to get any admin permissions on this machine. So go to groups, administrator, add that user to this group. Now he got administrator permissions. Again, can he log into this machine? Remote desktop. No. Here is the remote desktop users. Go there, add that user here. Then only he can log in. I want you to perform this task. Okay. So again, make sure remote connectivity is enabled on this machine or not. Just go to properties. By default, it enabled. Let me quickly cross check. Advanced system settings, and where is that? Oh, this remote settings here, and you can uncheck this. Apply. Click on OK. So we are allowing remote connections to this machine. Allow remote connections to this computer. Okay. So that is another thing. Now that admin user also can log into the same machine. So both users, two users can log in at a time to this machine. Okay. And by defaultly, we have two concurrent licenses for Windows RDP. So if you need more than that, you need to purchase a license from Microsoft. Then you need to apply that license here. Terminal licenses, CALs. Okay. And I'm going to install IIS quickly. Add roles and features. Next, next, next. Scroll down. IIS. Next, 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 and install. So don't think I'm going fast. These all things we already did, and I given a task also. And meanwhile, let me quickly change this wallpaper. So in simple, I'm copying some data. I'm copying some data and I'm performing some modifications here. Got it? right? So if you have an index.html, you can just copy that here. So I'm going to create a very simple index.html file. Okay, since it's index.html only. Okay. So once this installation is completed, we are going to get a folder in C drive, inetpub, www.root, here paste at index.html. That is going to deliver as a simple web page. So it is taking a minute or two. So let us wait. Okay, installation is succeeded. So let's go out and let's test the output. So this is what the public DNS, or you can use public IP or public DNS. Okay, this is what the output. Right. Now, I need a server with same settings. IIS must be installed, and custom wallpaper, and desktop need to have a couple of data, and custom users, and I really don't want to use a key pair and all. So what I can do is simply, see, I do not have any snapshots, I do not have any AMIs. I'm selecting my required instance, actions, image, create image. What is the image name you want to give? So I'm going to call this as a golden AMI. Just I'm giving a name. Image description. So instance with IIS and custom users and custom wallpaper and all. You can give some meaningful description. No reboot. While this image is creating, are you okay to reboot this operating system? Are you okay to reboot this operating system? If you are okay, don't select that. If you really don't want to reboot that, then select this option. Your OS is not going to reboot, but I'll prefer to reboot this. And second thing, before creating, my personal suggestion or recommended option, recommended means you can follow or you can skip that. So recommended option is stop this instance. Take a proper maintenance window, stop this instance. Once instance is stopped, then create an image. That is a recommended one. But instance is when it is in running state also, you can create an image. Okay. So it is stopping. Just go to image, create image. What name you want to give? So custom settings, and we have only one volume for this instance, that is a 30 GB one. Delete and termination, encrypted, not encrypted. Add new volume. If you want to add for all newly launching instances, you can add that, or you can just go with the default ones. Then click on create image. Now, one image creation request is initiated for this new Windows instance, and here under AMI, one image is creating here. One image is creating. And here you can find the status. It is in pending state. Okay. And backend, basically this image is going to contain a backend snapshot. The snapshot is going to contain all the data. See, when you navigate to snapshot, here one is creating. Earlier, do we have that? No, I manually came here and I shown that. We do not have any snapshot, we do not have any AMIs, but when I click on create image, immediately it is creating under AMIs and one snapshot is going to create. So this snapshot, if you are triggering to launch any instance here, it is going to use this snapshot only, then it is going to launch instance. Again, when a snapshot is associated with any of the AMI, you cannot delete that snapshot. When snapshot is associated to AMI, you cannot delete that snapshot. First, you need to deregister this. Then only you can delete that snapshot. Okay. So Now here instance image creation, golden AMI creation is completed. Now if I want to keep this instance, I can keep it or I can terminate that. I really don't require that, so I'm going to terminate this. Okay, now when I'm launching instance, if I'm selecting these are the plain or brand new instances, AMIs. Here under my AMI, you can see your golden AMI. You can select this, or else you can we can navigate to AMI page. You can select and click on launch. So only first step is going to skip. In first step, our AMI is going to select it. Okay. Now second step, remain all steps are same. All steps are same. So I'm going to select T2 micro. All the default settings. Storage 30 gigs. We cannot decrease that. Click on next. If you want to add, you can add a new one. No issues with that. And this is new instance from golden AMI. Click on next. And I'm going to choose an existing security group. Then click on review and launch. Now, do I really need to associate a key pair here? Now, if you associate key pair, can you use that to get connected to your instance? No. So that is why we have this third option. Proceed without a key pair. As I already know that AMI is modified with custom password, I really no need to associate any key pair. If you don't modify that, yes, you can associate a key pair or you can use the same. So here I'm going to select proceed without a key pair. Even if you choose an existing key pair, just to show you output, even if you associate a key pair also, that will not work. So just to show you, I'm going to associate one key pair. Otherwise, I'll go with this option, proceed without a key pair. So click on launch instance. Now one instance is going to launch. Not only that, you still have your AMI. If you want to launch another one, just go here, click on 10. All 10 instances will come with same settings. Okay. Now here is a new instance. It is in pending state. It is in running state. So it is going to take a minute. Basically EC2 config service need to be up and running and it need to execute a couple of scripts at OS level. Then it will start working. We can get connected basically. I'm going to grab the public DNS, MSTSC, click on enter. Seems it is not ready. So as you are aware, we can get instant screenshot. Okay, so it is asking me to enter username and password. As I associate a key pair, but I'm trying to get the password, what it is saying, password is not available. You have changed default password or you are launching instance from a custom AMI. So we cannot retrieve the password. So decrypt password is not available. Okay, so now again, along with administrator, we even created admin user also, we can use that. Now I've logged in as, not as administrator. We created another user, admin, and we have given local admin rights and remote access. By using that user, we logged in. So if you want to verify, open command and give who am I? Within this computer, your administrator. Okay, let's keep this session active and we can take another session also. MSTSC, give that, and it is picking admin automatically again. More choices, use different account, administrator. So you can see we got our custom wallpaper and let's verify. So I've not installed, I just got connected and I'm able to get that web page. and I got my custom wallpaper and all, and I have all my copied data. Everything is there. Okay, so this is a golden AMI or custom image option. Now let's see another options on this AMI. So if you want to copy this, go to actions, copy AMI, select your destination region. To what region you want to copy that. Then there you are going to get one AMI here. Then he can simply click on launch and he can, but you need to pass our credentials, that is important. And the second one, modify image permissions. Here you can see privately you can share with another AWS account user, or you can make it public also. If you are making it public, anybody can launch an instance from this. But do not store any sensitive information in your EC2 instance, and don't store any secret credentials, access key ID or secret access key within your EC2 instance. So when they launch instance, they will come to know about your password. For example, if you are storing like a document with a name called password and you forgot to delete that and you made it public, and he launched an instance on desktop only, he can find that. Okay, so don't save any sensitive informations and don't change any default passwords also. For example, I set up a custom password. Now if I share this with you, so you are going to ask me, the password. Even if you launch also, you cannot get connected to that, right? So make sure you have not changed any custom passwords. That is recommendations basically whenever you are making it public. And spot request. So if you want to launch same instance under spot category, you can go here, you can get this. You can bid your price, remaining all options are same. So then registered new AMI. So you can basically, earlier we used to have a mechanism like registering a OS by using manifest file. So at moment that feature is not available, so you really don't need to worry about that. So this is a golden AMI option. Okay, so you can share with public. Again, if you want to see all the Mumbai region's public images, click here, select public images. 45,959 public images are there. For example, you need a WordPress website. Go here, look for WordPress. These all are the WordPress images. These are the public images. Again, you can scroll right and you can find, for example, if you don't find some options here, click here, you can add. For example, you want to get description of this machine, select the description, click on close, you will get description. When that got created, what is the product codes, what is the description and all, you can just. For example, I told you like CIS, Center for Internet Security OS benchmarks. I need a machine with CIS benchmarks. There you can see. This is CIS Amazon Linux 2 benchmark version 1.0.2. So I really don't need to spend hours and hours. Why? Because so this is 12-digit total account ID, that is Amazon's one only. So Amazon is already did for me and they made it available here. So if I want to launch an instance with that setting, I can simply go here, I can launch instance. I can select T2 micro, remaining all options are same. So then I'm going to get an instance with the same settings. That is public images. If any user shared any private images securely with you, go with private images. If any other user shared with you. Owned by me. For example, if I go to private images, these are the ones I got it privately from AWS Marketplace for OpenVPN servers and all. So I got all this here. So this is owned by me. So again, here is a snapshot. If you try to delete the snapshot, it is erroring. So it is throwing an error. This snapshot is associated to an AMI. This is what the AMI ID. So we cannot delete this. So then when you can delete this, when you deregister this, I'm deregistering this. Then we can delete the snapshot. Okay, so this is straightforward option. I selected this option, I went to image and I created an image. Other than that, you can manually navigate to volumes. You can select your required volume, root volume, then create a snapshot. Then you are going to get a snapshot like this. Select the snapshot. The third option is create image. Click on that. What is the image name? So you can give a name. What is the description? What is the architecture? What is the virtualization type you want to use? What is the root device name? What is the kernel ID you want to use? RAM disk ID. So then click on create. Again, same thing, you are going to get an AMI here. But this is a recommended option. Amazon is going to pick all the appropriate or required settings. This is a terminated instance. When the instance is in stopped state also you can create an image, or it is in running state also you can create an image. Okay, so these images we always use. Okay, so now let me delete the snapshot. I really don't require it. So make sure you delete your snapshots once you're done with your lab, and make sure you delete your unnecessary resources. Okay, I really don't require this instance also. Now, the task is, we have two scenarios basically in this task. Scenario 1. So you have an EC2 instance and you logged in and you change the password. You have access to your key pair. You have key pair in your AWS account, and you have key pair in your local machine also, whatever the one now. You have key pair in your local machine also. So you have not deleted any key pair, but you forgot that password. How you are going to crack that is a scenario 1. So scenario 2, you logged in, you modified the password, and you thought, okay, you can remember that. So what you did, you deleted that key pair from your AWS account as well as from your local machine, associated key pair. So how you can crack that password? Okay, that is what task for this weekend. So I'll give a help article. So go to Google, look for EC2 administrator password reset using EC2 config service. I don't want you to go with another services like a systems manager. I want you to perform this task by using EC2 config service only. This is the official AWS documentation. While performing this task, you are going to work with instances, volumes, snapshots, associating volume, disassociating. These all options you are going to perform. Okay. So again, I want you to perform by using EC2 config only. I'll explain you. This is our first instance and primary, and you logged in and you modified the password and you forgot that. First scenario, you have key pair in this AWS account as well as in your local machine. It is very simple. Launch a new instance, temporary instance. Stop this instance and you have root volume, right? Disassociate that root volume and associate here. When you associate, it is going to be D drive. This already have C drive. Now within this D drive, go to EC2 config service. There you are going to have a file called EC2 config.xml. Modify a string under EC2 password reset. Okay. Then detach it, attach it back. The common mistake you are going to perform while attaching it here is you are going to by defaultly attach with default name. So whenever you are attaching, it is going to treat it as a additional volume, not as a C drive. So make sure you gave appropriate name before detaching itself. Note down the name. What is the name we got for this root volume? Simple. So now I have this instance Apache web server. So here I have only one volume, and that root device volume name is dev xvda. So whenever you are in volumes also, Apache web server volume, and since you cannot find that, yeah, dev xvda. Whenever you are attaching it back, make sure you give same name. If you are giving any different name, it won't read that as a root volume. Your OS will not start itself. So that is a scenario 1. Scenario 2. Before performing all these operations, whatever the instance you have with the key pair, create an image. This is what your image. While launching a new instance from that image, in final step, whatever the key pair you already deleted, create a new key pair with the same name and associate that and perform this operation with this newly launched instance. So go to this article, and I want everyone to perform this. Okay, so this is optional 4th step. The optional is nothing but second scenario. First of all, skip this 4th step, perform that. Then after, along with this 4th step, perform that. Okay. All right. So any questions for me, guys? That's the first thing. And second thing, everybody registered to that course, Linux course. Okay. So from Monday onwards, we are going to start with Linux. Okay. So in the Linux course, we have video 14, package management. So go there and try to complete this. First thing. So again, these all operations happen on AWS environment only. So if you have some time, just go through this pretty quickly, and you can go through this course at any time. So if you not yet registered, drop me an email personally today itself. So I'm going to share that required code. Okay. So make sure you complete that. Process package management. So there I have explained how to install HTTPD, Apache web server. You can go through that. And if you want to know how to create users and how to manage that users and all, so here is an option, users and groups management. You can just go here and you can understand how that groups and everything. So I'll quickly explain, but I'm going to explain how much we require to go to further sessions. In detail, basics of that, all basic commands and everything, I made it available here. So again, if you have some experience with Linux operating system, so absolutely no issues. But if you do not have any experience with Linux operating system, if you are a novice or if you want to learn now itself from scratch, yes, follow this sections, this 9 sections, and complete it. Now you know how to launch a Linux instance. You can skip that installation part, no issue. So you can skip this installation and you can skip this boot process also. That is really no need to worry about that. So concentrate on Linux basic commands and editors. First thing, user management, permissions management, and process and package management. Again, networking, these all things you can, and storage. These 4 I want you to go through. Use basic commands, user management, process management and package management, and storage options. Okay. So please spend some time over the weekend and please complete that. Okay. So Again, basically, Naresh IT is giving a free Linux course for classroom users, basically. So if you want, you can utilize that one also. But you know, most of the times, time is going to conflict. That's why I personally did this course just for you guys. Okay, so make sure you spend some time and do that. So that's it for today's session, guys. So in our next session, next coming 2 sessions, we'll quickly look into these options in our Linux operating system. Then we are going to start with Elastic Load Balancer. Okay, and see you again on Monday. Thank you, guys.